Okay, let's talk about something that never fails to amaze me. The way the West just can't seem to handle completely strange men and women not touching each other. You'd think it's some kind of universal crisis. And when Muslims are involved, the reactions go from awkward to downright disturbing. So let's break down why this obsession is a bit unsettling. Let's start with the incident involving Ahmed al-Shara or Jolani, the current leader of Syria, who didn't shake hands with German Foreign Minister Baerbock. In Islam, we maintain modesty by avoiding unnecessary physical contact with non mahram individuals. But in the West, you'd think not shaking hands was akin to declaring war. It's like, how dare he not touch me in greeting? It's quite amusing when you think about it. We're all about avoiding awkward situations, and they're all about creating them with their touchy-feely greetings. Then there's the ex-post from a Syrian guy named Suhaib Zaino inviting people to visit Syria. And a Western woman's response is, you need to shake our hands first. Imagine that. Making a handshake a prerequisite for tourism. It's like they believe physical contact is the universal language of diplomacy. From our perspective, we're just trying to keep things halal and respectful, not start a diplomatic incident with a simple no thanks. Now let's move to Germany again, where a Muslim woman during her graduation ceremony didn't shake the dean's hand. Why? Because in Islam, we avoid physical contact with non-mahram men, those not closely related, to maintain dignity and respect. Simple, right? But in the West, apparently, this is a huge deal. No handshake, no citizenship. The backlash online was unreal. People lost their minds, calling her all sorts of things like backward, antagonistic to Western values, or even anti-freedom, because apparently handshakes are now the ultimate measure of freedom. The internet went into overdrive with memes, angry tweets, and endless debates about how incompatible this refusal was with German values, as if not shaking hands could somehow be a gateway to chaos or the collapse of civilization. It's honestly hilarious when you think about it. I mean, in the West, they've literally built a whole culture around not touching personal space is a thing, right? You can barely touch someone without pulling the don't touch me card. But no, when it's about a religious reason for avoiding a handshake, suddenly it's like we're talking about human rights violations. And there was this Muslim doctor in Germany, perfectly integrated, acing his citizenship test, contributing to society, fluent in German, the whole package. But wait, no handshake with a woman, citizenship denied. Yes, you heard that right. The courts essentially said, sure, you're a model citizen, but if you don't shake hands with our women, you're not one of us. Imagine working hard for years, passing every test, only to be told, sorry, we need to see that handshake. It's like a bureaucratic game show where the buzzer goes off if your hand stays by your side. Germany, the same country that told us all handshakes are sacred, was perfectly fine ditching them the moment a pandemic rolled in. Suddenly, everyone's walking around doing elbow bumps and awkward airwaves. No one was accused of being un-German for keeping their distance. But when it's for religious reasons, nope, unacceptable. So the message seems clear. No touching for health, totally fine. No touching for faith, it's almost as if they're saying equality and democracy hinge on handshakes. The ultimate test of integration. Never mind your values, contributions, or years of loyal citizenship. The handshake is king. The irony writes itself. And just to prove that this isn't a one-off, let's take a trip to Switzerland. Yes, Switzerland. Back in 2018, a Muslim couple was denied citizenship simply because they didn't shake hands with the opposite sex during their naturalization interview. You know, because no handshake means you're not integrating properly. I mean, come on, Switzerland. Is it really a deal breaker that these two show their respect through other gestures instead of offering their hands? What's next? No handshake? No cheese fondue? Are we really equating handshakes with integration? Because if that's the bar, let me tell you, the Swiss are setting it pretty low. At the end of the day, it's clear. The West is so obsessed with their own culture, they think it's the only one that matters. Like if you don't follow their customs, you're somehow less of a person. But here's the thing, we don't need to conform to their standards to prove our worth. As Muslims, we stand firm in our values, rooted in our faith, and guided by the teachings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We don't need to change who we are just to fit into a mold that doesn't respect our beliefs. We should be proud of our values, proud of the dignity, respect, and integrity that Islam teaches us. And above all, we should be brave in standing by those values, even when they're misunderstood. The only opinion that truly matters is the opinion of Almighty Allah. We don't need to fear anyone else. The West can keep its handshakes. We have something much more powerful, our faith and our unwavering commitment to it.